On today's show,
Are the Raptors for real? What's wrong with Kevin Love? And did the NBA make the right call in not suspending Green?
in the Up-Down Report, does Bradley Beal deserve a max deal? And did Dwayne do the Dwight thing here?
And we'll look ahead to tonight's potentially explosive Game 4 between the Dubs and Thunder.
It's Tuesday, May 24th. The starter starts no!
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to the starters. Whether you're listening to the podcast or joining us live on NBA TV or a little bit later on YouTube, we're happy to have you. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tess Millis.
Hello, what's your screen name?
To his right, it's the international man of mystery, taking it to the max. Taking it to the max would definitely be his screen name, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, over there, starters blog editor, Taco Trey Kirby.
Hey,
Hey, Taco, what do you got for us?
I'm here with the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters, and y'all know we love Snapchat around here, so when they recently introduced their custom geo filters, we knew it was only a matter of time before we got some hilarious NBA tie-ins, and we finally got one last night as we learned from USA Today's Jeff Zilgett, who shared his Biombo is my father Snapchat filter that was available in Arena for the Raptors' big win last night. I love this, and it brings us to today's question. What other NBA Snapchat lenses would you like to see? For instance, maybe you could try the Patrick Ewing filter, which when you use it, gives you his signature widow's peak and makes you look super duper sweaty.
That's weird.
Perfect after a Bar 2 workout.
weird one.
Or if you want a new haircut, why don't you try the Elfrid Payton filter? You don't have to grow out your hair, but you still get this beautiful new haircut. But this one is my favorite. When you're watching basketball at home and you see a very solid play, why don't you try the Lee Ellis filter, which gives you your own glasses, thumbs, and a very solid banner. But we want to hear from you. Let us know on Twitter what other NBA Snapchat lenses you'd like to see. Send us your best answers at hashtag the starters, and we'll peep them a little bit later.
All right, get your tweets in. Should have some fun answers there. All right, on tonight's show, we got the Up-Down Report. It's been a little while since we've done that, and we'll get you set for tonight's huge Game 4 between the Thunder and the Warriors, Game 4 in OKC. But first, let's play a little Is This News? Playoff edition. If you're new to the show, what's wrong with you? But here's how it works. Trey rounded up some recent playoff headlines. He's going to pitch them to us, and we'll determine whether or not they're actually news. It's pretty simple. Trey, first headline.
Our first headline comes from the New York Times, no big deal. And it reads, Raptors tie series and make Cavaliers look mortal again. Is this news?
Is this news?
Of course it is.
Is this news? Nobody picked the Raptors to win both games at home. They are 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. I would say even Stephen A. Smith would consider this news. What it's overshadowing, I think, is the performance by Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, because those guys had to be monumental for the Raptors to win this second home game. They picked this night for their best shooting night of the playoffs. Kyle Lowry shot 70%. Combined, they shot 65%. 67 points from these two. Kyle Lowry was the best version of Kyle Lowry we've seen all postseason. The roller coaster that this guy has ridden in this postseason has been extremely fun to watch from this perspective. The fact that he has ridden it through. He stayed along that ride the entire time. He didn't request to get off. It's pretty fun
Not
to
even
watch
for
him.
a stop at the toilet break, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a quickie.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, the reason I think they shot well is because of the shots they were taking. They were moving towards the basket. Like early on in the playoffs, what's frustrated a lot of Raptors fans is the shots they've been taking have been low percentage, they've been a long way away from the basket, and they've been really long shots equal long rebounds, and they often don't go in as much. If you saw it, especially in that fourth quarter, when the game was close and when the Cavs made that run, they scored on 14 consecutive trips.
That's what's insane about this game.
Yeah.
The Cavs in the fourth quarter scoring 14 consecutive possessions, but the Raps kept scoring.
And the Raps kept scoring, and the way they did that was by attacking the basket, by going inside. There's no rim protection in there for Cleveland. So the Raptors did it. It starts with Lowry and DeRozan, but then you also saw Corey Joseph go in there and do it. That, to me, shows tremendous growth from this Raptors team from the start of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because we remember we've pointed out before where Kyle Lowry will come down and put up a 35-footer when the game's tied and it goes to overtime. Instead, Cleveland made a big push, and the Raptors responded the best way possible, take high percentage shots, and they got in and got the game.
Fourth quarter, 9 shots in the paint, 6 shots outside of it.
Right.
So they drove.
Much
and
better
drove
balance.
and drove.
Much
yeah.
better balance. These playoffs have become, insanely unpredictable. Because you're right, Tass. A few days ago, this conference finals, we were talking sweep. We thought, hey, maybe they take one. But you're right. No one really had them winning back-to-back games
Nobody.
here. And
Raps
now we have,
fans
and
didn't.
now we have a best-of-3 series. anything can happen. And we've seen, and this was the game plan heading into this series, we thought with the Raptors, okay, the Cavs, they can't miss from three-point land in the first 2 rounds. But you got to stay with that strategy. You got to just pray to the basketball gods that eventually they start missing some of these three-pointers. But that's not what they did in game 1 defensively. They said, well, let's take away the threes and then let's give them a layup line. And everyone's left going, what are you doing? I mean, I understand you want to try and prevent the three-point shots or open three-point shots, but that's not a smart strategy, just letting guys walk in there for 2 easy points. In games 3 and 4, the Cavs have had decent looks. They really have, and they were knocking them down through the first 10 games of the playoffs, and they dried up a little bit. The third quarter, of course, they caught fire, Channing Frye and all the guys. But, you know, throughout the 2 games in Toronto, they've shot over 40 three-point attempts. They're happy to keep firing away, and they just haven't hit enough.
And you saw as well, LeBron James, the Raptors are actually leaving him on the perimeter, almost daring him to shoot.
Again, what everyone was saying.
Yeah.
That's how you should try and play LeBron.
Yeah,
It's your best ability to win.
LeBron last night especially was marking DeMar DeRozan early on, so he's putting more energy on the defensive end. So he doesn't want to take those long shots. He wants to get inside like he did in games 1 and 2. But if you're laying off him and saying, shoot all you want, he doesn't want to do that. We know he's not a great three-point shooter. He can shoot it, but last night it worked in the Raptors' advantage.
He's continued this habit of his of taking 1 shot at the rim. For every 1 shot at the rim, he takes 1 shot, you know, for mid-range or three-point land. But I thought he could have been a little bit more aggressive yesterday. It's hard to criticize a guy who went 9 for 16.
Yeah.
It's very hard to criticize him. That being said, if you watch these possessions, I thought he was getting to the rim but deciding to pass a lot of the time. He likes to quote, hey, I'll take what the defense gives me. That being said, I think there are better shots out there for him if he just shot at the rim. And with a couple minutes left, you got Kyle Lowry on your back. You've got a chance to go right at the rim. You're a 4-time MVP. You're probably going to get a call. But instead, he waited, and then the double comes, and then he made the pass. So do we criticize him in other instances for passing a little too much? You know, when he doesn't make the pass, we criticize him. We criticize him when he doesn't shoot the ball. At the same time, I think those shots at the rim are better shots than three-point shots. I think he could have made a couple more shots at the rim if he really wanted to.
That said, in a couple of those clips we just showed you, Biombo was the one
He was
shading
there.
over there, and you maybe think that's in the back of his mind a little bit because Biombo's been
Sure,
absolutely
he
great
is.
with the help defense. All right, Trey.
He is.
What's the next headline?
Our next headline comes from the New York Post, and it says, the Cavaliers have a Kevin Love problem again. Is this news?
What do you guys think? I don't think so.
Not really. Kevin has struggled at times being in Cleveland, but he did start off this series particularly very, very hot. But now what's happened is in Toronto, he struggled to get that shot, and when that shot's not dropping, other parts of his game suffer.
The news part of this headline, I really think, is he's not playing in the back in the 2 fourth quarters in Toronto. He hasn't even played.
Yeah.
Now, is that the part? Is that news to you, or is that because Channing Frye was playing pretty well for Lou?
How can you play Kevin Love in the fourth quarter when you score on 14 straight possessions without him? From the 12-minute mark to the 4.5-minute mark, you didn't miss. So why do you need Kevin Love in there? You go without him. And he hurt himself right at the end of the third quarter. Unfortunately, he stepped on referee David Guthrie's foot, which was just a freak accident. You never see that. He went down. Kevin Love isn't the problem. The Cavs have a losing problem. I mean, that's what it is. Was this a problem when they were winning? No.
Right.
His averages are basically the exact same as they were during the regular season. Yeah, he's missed some shots. He hasn't gotten the shots inside that he usually gets. There's no doubt he's shooting a heck of a lot more threes. That is a bit of a problem.
But we
again,
talked about Lowry. I mean, look at his roller coaster playoffs where it's way down. He's shooting like the worst you could even shoot for a guard in playoff history, and then obviously has huge games. I mean, he's gone up and down. I think right now, Love is on it's one of those times where he's just not hitting shots. That said, he is 8 for 30 in the restricted area in the playoffs, so he's content to fire away from three-point land, but he was on fire for the first 10 games, and he's gone cold.
Well, that's the thing. I think because he was so hot, he's perhaps settling a little bit for those jump shots. He's not going inside, but then when he does go inside, you mentioned it, Biombo's right there to attack him. But the thing as well is on defense, I think the Raptors are really trying to expose him because he's not a great pick and roll defender, and whoever he is on, they're trying to attack to get him away from the paint. He's not a great rim protector either, so that's probably affecting his confidence.
As good as Channing Frye was in this game, though, he's not as good a rebounder as Kevin Love is. In the last minute, 2 huge offensive rebounds for the Raps were given up by Channing Frye. He's just not a very good defensive rebounder. And still, I know we're all gung-ho right now, but the Cavs are still the favorite. I mean, the Cavs won by 50 points the first 2 games, and it took a monumental effort to win Game 4 for the Raps and Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. LeBron, 17-0 when his teams go up 2-0.
And even the entire, you look at the regular season and the playoffs with these 2 teams, the home team has won every single game, and the Cavs still have 2 at the queue. All right, Trey, one more headline. What do you got?
Our final headline comes from our bros over at NBA.com, and it says, Draymond Green fined, not suspended, for groin kick. Is this news?
This could be the biggest news of the playoffs, in my opinion, because it could ultimately decide who's the 2016 NBA champ.
Yeah, the guy who was 7th in MVP voting playing tonight, that's pretty big.
That's pretty big news with his
Yeah.
team trailing 2-1 in a series on the road. Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
news.
it
It's
is news,
confirmed.
but I think it's the wrong news.
I agree with you.
I think the NBA got this wrong. I think they should have suspended him. I think he deserved a suspension. I think his action warranted a suspension because if you saw, and I referenced it yesterday on the show, I think because they gave Dante Jones a game, they have to give Draymond Green a game.
I don't really buy that at
Well,
all.
I
Lee.
do.
That's where I disagree with you. Your reasoning, just because Jones balls up his hand and punches Biyombo late in a game when a guy doesn't even play, and then compare it to this, I actually don't buy that. But the intent to me was there. It really was, because I said it yesterday too. We talked about it before we found out the news. If Green really didn't mean to do it, which is what he says he did, then you would immediately apologize. You don't usually kick a guy in the groin and just walk away from it. You say, I'm sorry, I didn't actually mean to do that. My bad. You see it all the time in the NBA from a flare, an elbow, or a slap or whatever. If you don't mean to hit the guy, you usually just go, my bad.
Yeah, but my point is that the impact and the severity of what Green did compared to Jones, I think, is much bigger and much greater, and that's why he deserved a game. Because Dante Jones just tapped him. Draymond Green full-on kicked.
Yeah.
To me, I'm entirely fine that it wasn't a suspension. Was it a basketball play? No, but in a way it is because everyone is doing it,
flop.
including Draymond Green and Russell Westbrook. Yeah, the leg flop, which isn't good. It has to be, it's reckless. I'm 100% agree that it's reckless, but we see in instances this season, Draymond Green has done it regular season and playoffs, so it's reckless. Yes, it has to be getting rid of, but you don't get rid of it in the postseason. I'm sorry, suspensions handed out in the regular season and the postseason are entirely different. It'll be a point of emphasis next season to get rid of these legs that are flopping all over the place because it isn't a basketball play, but there's no precedent for a guy getting hit and flopping with his leg and getting suspended. It hasn't happened in the league. This is entirely new.
But
Arms are different and regular season suspensions have happened because of it, not playoff suspensions.
If Draymond's done it a lot and gotten away with it, wouldn't you also say that perhaps it finally caught up with him?
Yeah. And that's why they're going to get rid of it regular season. It's going to be a POE on that memo.
We should point out.
Get rid of it, but not in the postseason.
Edgar Allan, POE.
We should point out it was upgraded to a flagrant 2. He's at 3 flagrant foul points during this postseason. One more. He'll miss a game no matter what.
Yeah, flagrant
Anyway,
1 or flagrant 2. Yeah.
Take a break, come back with the up-down report. Don't go anywhere.
Edgar Allan, POE.
Cameron Poe.
Welcome back to the Starters. Time to figure out where the four of us stand on some recent NBA topics. It is the up-down report. Let's see your thumb emojis on Twitter. Hashtag the Starters. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, first one here, guys. Bradley Beal would very much like a maximum contract. The 22-year-old Wizards shooting guard is a restricted free agent, but he told the Washington Post, I want to be valued the right way. I feel like I'm a max player, and that's what I'm looking for. If Washington can't meet that requirement, then I may be thinking elsewhere. So, up or down on the Wizards signing Bradley Beal, let's say, to a max contract? Is he a max player?
I'm up.
2 up,
Yeah.
2 down.
2 up, 2 down.
I think so. The big knock on him.
Oh,
right-
you love Bradley
I
Beal.
do
What
love
a shock.
You want to borrow my thumb so you can go double thumbs up?
No, the big knock on him right now is he hasn't been able to play 82 games. He had a lot of stress fractures, a lot of problems with his knees and his ankles and things like that.
He hasn't even played 75 games.
No, he
in any
hasn't.
season.
But the thing is, when he has played, I believe he plays at an all-star caliber level. He did in the playoffs in the 2 times he's been to the playoffs, and he started off this season very well until, again, injuries derailed him. I think he's going to be in huge demand as well. Every team would have a guy who can shoot like that, so I think if the Wizards don't sign into a max, someone will.
I think he's got to give the Wizards a bit of a deal, though, a bit of a discount. He said 4 months ago, minutes may have to be monitored closely for the rest of my career. He said that multiple times. It's sort of like a Steph Curry situation. Maybe he'll reach his potential at some point down the road. But at this point, maybe you sign that extension to a little bit of a cheaper deal and then find a way not to get those stretch reactions and those stretch fractures, just like Steph learned not to have all that ankle pain.
Yeah, but like Leah's saying, some team is going to offer him a max contract this summer. And since he's a restricted free agent, to me, it's better to match that max contract than to lose him for nothing because the Wizards missed the playoffs this year, and it was such a huge deal that they won a playoff series a couple of years ago. They can't really take another step back, especially not for John Wall. It would be kind of like starting over when he was a rookie again, just him there with nobody else really, because this was an aging team around him. They got to keep Brad Beal around just because they need a second young potential star, really.
As a 4-year vet, Beal could earn up to 25% of the cap, and if we think the salary cap will be around $92 million, we'd be looking at about a $23 million per year player. When I say
money.
$23
Yeah,
million.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of money when you say it like that.
Yeah.
But of course, the cap's going to jump again next year, so you wonder if his agent might say, maybe we just hold off rather than go for the full-on max to start with.
Would you rather have Bradley Beal or DeMar DeRozan? At this point in their career, Beal's not even 23.
Great question.
Right?
I guess you would say two-time All-Star DeMar DeRozan you would take, but I love Bradley Beal.
You do love Bradley Beal.
To
So
me,
I would not say that.
I hope him and his agent go to the table with the Wizards and say, let's make this sort of like a Klay Thompson situation. Let's just give you a little bit of a discount. I could get max elsewhere. Klay Thompson could get max elsewhere, obviously, but just give him a little
The
deal.
Wizards need that
Well,
money
that's
to sign
not-
Kevin Durant.
Beal
anyway,
says he
so.
wants max money, too.
Yeah,
All right.
And he
He'll
turned
change
down
his
the
mind.
extension.
All right, next one here. Here comes the line stepper, murderer. Raps coach Dwayne Casey was a habitual line stepper in his team's Game 4 win on Monday. The most glaring play here came in the final 10 seconds there, where he clapped at Kyrie Irving as Kyrie attempted to get the Cavs within one possession with a three, just coming right out there, playing the clap Vinny Del Negro defense. Are you guys up or down on this type of behavior, Dwayne Casey's sideline defense?
Oh, I'm happy. I'm so happy
I'm
about
in.
it.
Really?
He's got to be careful. That should have been a tech foul. He's
The
not
one
allowed
with
to enter
Kyrie
the
there?
court. If Kyrie hits a three, they get a tech. That's a 2-point game.
Yeah, but it's so rare for that to be called.
No,
right?
it's very rare, but look how dangerous it could have been if it was called. You can understand as well if players get annoyed by this, because he shouldn't be out there.
He doesn't notice it's happening at all.
I-
There's thousands of people there yelling. People are close to him. The bench is yelling. We're thinking that because a guy is 6 feet closer, it makes that big of a difference. I don't see a reason to be upset about it. Nothing ever happens. If a guy gets run into, it is a technical foul, and don't
Jason
call it.
Kidd
That wasn't during
the
that
floor
wasn't
and
during
took
a
a
shot.
charge.
That wasn't a shot, though.
Let's say he does fall back. Let's say there's a defender coming and Kyrie falls back and bumps into him or something like that. Then the Cavs will be very, very upset.
Okay. If that happens, then maybe they will be
I
upset,
just
but
think
it
he's-
doesn't happen. He's
Yeah.
not affecting the shot. There are so many people there that are yelling. One other guy isn't a big deal.
Yeah,
I just love the passion.
You
I
can
mean,
show
it's-
passion by not stepping over the line.
But why not? I mean, he's showing his players, hey, I want this just as much as you do. If Anthony Robbins was a basketball coach, that's what he would do. He'd be into it. I think it's fine.
Let's hear from you guys. Thumbs up or thumbs down on both of those. Is Beal a max contract player, and should Dwayne Casey be stepping over the line? We gotta take a break. Lots more still to come when we return. Is tonight's Game 4 in OKC a must-win affair for both of these teams? That and more. Don't go anywhere. We asked you earlier in the show, what NBA Snapchat lenses would you like to see? You hit us up on Twitter, hashtag the starters with your answers. Trey, you got a few of the best ones.
Yeah, we got a lot of expected answers, like a James Harden beard or Anthony Davis's unibrow, but these are the weirder ones. This one comes from King. He says, how about a filter that makes it look like all of your teeth have been knocked out? It's the Goran Dragic filter. Not bad. Matt says, a great filter would be J.R. Smith. You just get covered in tattoos. I like it.
Yeah.
But my favorite comes from Alex, who says, Kent Bazemore. He gives you the Baze gaze. Or we could just call it the Lee Ellis filter, and he hits you up with the disappointed teacher
All right, you're
gaze.
too happy. There you go. All right, keep those tweets coming. What NBA Snapchat lenses would you guys like to see? All right, we got one game on tonight. That's where we're at in the playoffs. One night, every night. Warriors Thunder, Game 4. OKC leads this series 2-1. This one's on TNT. 9 p.m. Eastern start. Coverage, of course, starting at 8. I believe we're going to see the Ernie Johnson versus Charles Barkley three-point contest around
Pivotal.
8 o'clock. Here's Russell Westbrook. Oh, you know, fairly. What? Why are you laughing, Lee?
Hey, you said overalls were coming back, man.
Yeah.
They're back, baby.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Finally.
He's doing it for you.
Hey, apparently he gives away his clothes after he wears them once, so maybe
Yep.
I can get hold of those.
Okay. Hey, Russ, if you're watching, send in your overalls. Lee will wear them. No
Yeah.
problem. All right, let's look ahead at this game, though. What do you think the Warriors need to do to try to even this series tonight? Where does it start?
I think this is the deciding game tonight.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, because if the Warriors win, they go home, they feel they're comfortable, they feel like themselves. They get 2 or 3 in the next at home. I doubt that the Thunder can win this, but if obviously the Thunder go up 3-1, good night. But OKC has changed the way the Warriors are playing. They did it to the Spurs. Now they're doing it to the Warriors. And I know everyone out there still expects the Warriors to win this series. They are still the favorite. But I wonder if we're all just dummy heads and we all just don't see that they're changing the way the 73-win team is going about their business and they can't hit chippies. They are feeling so uncomfortable with themselves. You couldn't recognize the Spurs in round 2. It's hard to recognize the Warriors in round 3 here. This is the game to me. If the Warriors just can be comfortable and feel like themselves, then we'll see the best version, and we'll see a 73 win team, and they'll win the rest of the series. But it's tonight. It has to happen tonight for them.
I'm really interested to see how Draymond Green does respond, because he was pretty bad after the incident on Game 3.
Yeah.
And now he has to come back, and really he owes his team because of what happened in that last game. So I'm really expecting him to come out and put in a good performance. Steve Kerr said a while ago, they've never really faced adversity since Steve Kerr came in as a coach. Now they are. This is a big, big moment for them.
Wasn't last year adversity?
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that, but this is what's
Down
different.
2-1.
That's what he said, though.
Yeah, they've been in this position before, down 2-1.
Yeah, but not
last
to a team like this.
Hold on. Last year's against the Grizzlies in the first round,
Yeah.
right? And
Second
then
round,
second
yeah.
round, excuse me, and then in the finals against the Cavs. But
Yeah.
the difference to me than this series is they made adjustments, right? Against the Grizzlies, well, we're not going to play Tony Allen. Bogut, don't even play him. Worked perfect. They win the next 3. Against the Cavs, that was sort of the introduction to some extent of the super death lineup, the small ball, where they just went super small against the Cavs. That worked. What's the adjustment for this Game 4? That's what I'm perplexed. I don't really know what it actually is outside of, hey, Steph, go get us 45 tonight.
Yeah, but I think
What
you're
is
going to
it?
see the way Steph Curry attacks is going to be a little bit different.
Maybe.
He's not going to be dancing looking for threes all the time. He's probably going to go to the rim because Durant was so good at the rim for their small lineup of the Thunder. I say challenge him again. The guy is not used to playing at the rim as a rim protector. He had a great Game 3. Will Game 4 hold up? Who knows?
This as well, they're not down 2-1 to a team like they were against last year. The Cavs struggled to score, and so did the Grizzlies. The Warriors and the Thunder right now, they can score against them. That's the big difference for me.
That's absolutely true. Can't wait to see Game 4 tonight. Do you think they'll boo Draymond Green in OKC? What do you guys think? No?
Forgive and forget.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right, after the jump, Lee Lease, very solid play. Back with the starters, we know where we're going, but who gets the honor for Lee's very solid play of the night, Lee?
The icing on the cake for the Raptors is getting the very solid play, and it is a beauty. Here's Tupat with a beautiful bounce pass to Kyle with the layup, and one. Yeah, and look at
And
here it
one
is.
flop.
There it is again. Watch this. This is a beauty. There's a layup. Do some push-ups, Kyle. That's what I call a very solid play.
Quite solid. Now it's time for the highlight that wasn't. This play sent Raptors fans into a tizzy. They got mad that this foul call happened. Either way, we're showing it to you. LeBron tries to climb Mount Biombo. It doesn't work out. Mount
failed.
Biombo gets a foul call.
my God.
It's
What a collision.
he hit him on the
Where's the
he hit him
foul?
on the left
Come
arm.
on.
He hit him on the left arm. You sound like a
I'm in a
Raptor
tizzy.
fan.
I'm in a tizzy.
Oh, it's fixed as it skeets.
Get out of that tizzy.
That was not a foul. Guys, tonight, Warriors Thunder, Game 4, OKC leading the series, 9 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Following that Game 4, the Dunk King will be crowned, and Magic forward Aaron Gordon, a guy who knows a thing or two about dunking, he's going to be live tweeting along with that. At NBA on TNT is your Twitter follow there. So enjoy the game tonight, enjoy Dunk King's finale, and we'll be back tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, to break it all down.
All right, can't wait. Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, tonight we watch the Dunk King finale, although we already may have watched the Tim Dunking finale.
Grace the night, people. Wow.